Hey, it's Devin, and this is Youngbloods. What is going on, everybody? So I'm here. Had some issues to deal with, but we got them taken care of. Now we're back up and running. But I wanted to just say, you know what? I saw a video the other day, and in that video, it's actually kind of interesting, right? So it's interesting to the point that I'm just going to play it. So let's get this thing going.
Are you married?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Is he happy?
Oh, that's a weird question. Usually they ask if I'm happy.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of an interview. I'm just, because he's not here, I want to show my care for him as well. Is he happy? Your answer is yes, no? You don't wanna answer that question?
No.
I think it's okay. I think we got the answer.
Who we?
That's me and the camera guy. You got it, bro?
Well, fuck. And fuck.
Are you married?
So the thing is, when I hear that, and the reality, what it comes down to is, I always ask the question, and the question is simple: who is in charge of everybody's happiness? Right? Who's in charge of my happiness? Who's in charge of my wife's happiness? And I can honestly say, when it comes to my happiness, I'm in charge of my happiness for one. But when it comes to my marriage, I've got to be happy within my marriage. But on top of that, I also have to make sure that my wife is happy within our marriage too, because I want her to be happy. Her concern, things she's concerned about, should be my concern as well. And so, from that video, when you have someone saying, asking you about your spouse, the question really is, are you happy? Is she happy? And then the next question that we didn't get to, obviously, was, how do you know? Well, I can't always know if my wife's happy. I can't always know if she's happy in our marriage, but I can assume, but then I also can ask her. And I think that's the biggest problem when it comes to marriage. When we get married, I think we tend to sit back and we think that, it's done. We did this. We are together, and everything's going to be fine. Instead of asking the questions, are you happy? And it's important to honestly ask that question. I appreciate if my wife asks me the question of are you happy? Because in reality, if I'm not happy, I should let her know. If she's not happy, she should let me know. Happiness is important, especially when you're with someone for a long extended period of time. Especially if you're married with someone for life or for eternity, depends on your religious belief. You need to know those things. It's important, because if they're not happy, then what's the next step? How do you fix it? Because it should be fixed. You've committed to being in a relationship with each other. And so because you've been in that committed relationship, you should be willing to take the next step and say, okay, I want to make sure they're happy. Now, the problem is, I think women in general, men are happy in marriages when it comes to the basic stuff. It doesn't take much to make a man happy. Again, I've said it before. They need three things. One, they need bedroom stuff. Oh, there's a thumb. And then two, they need good food, whether you cook it or he cooks it or you both cook it. And three, they need communication. They need to know that they're loved. They need to know that they're respected. That's that communication part. If a man has those three things, he will be happy. Because a lot of times he won't get that at work. A lot of times he won't get that anywhere else. But when he comes home, that's where he should get it. That's where he should get the most out of everything. He should be getting that respect that he deserves. And it's we got to put in more effort when it comes to things. If we don't put in the effort, then what else is going to, no one else is going to do it for you. I mean, you did it. You started this. You said I do. And when you said I do, that literally meant, hey, I will be responsible for a portion of your happiness. Now, you're not in charge of 100% of their happiness. They have to choose. Happiness is a choice. You have to make a choice in your relationship and in your marriage to be happy. You have to do the things that it takes to make sure that you're doing your part to make your spouse happier. So when I watch the videos like that, and I want to say that that's fake. I hate to say that that's real. I really don't want that to be a real thing, because if that tells me, one, if she doesn't know if he's happy or not, then she's really not happy, and she hasn't put in the work either. So it's super sad for me when I see stuff like that. That's super sad. I don't like it. I don't like the way the whole thing works. I don't like, I want to see people, I want to see, when it comes to, especially in relationships, I want to see people who are ecstatic to be alive, happy to be with their spouse, happy to do all the things that they know that they should be doing. But in reality, a lot of that stuff doesn't work. People, it's frustrating, because you got married for a reason. And because you got married for a reason, you should follow through with the things that you want to do. You should follow through with all of those things. So that, to me, that's sad. To me, that's really sad. And I wish, I do wish that, I wish people could look through their eyes of their significant other and say, you know what? I will be, they said it at first. They said, yes, I want to be there for you. I want to be part of your happiness. I want to be there, make sure you got the things that you need. But when they're not happy, it's like something disappeared. And why did it disappear? I mean, you love that person for whatever reason, and it worked. But all of a sudden, it doesn't work anymore. I don't know. Those are the things I think about. And I want people to. I want people to be able to I want people to have the happiness that they deserve in life. I really do. I want people to be able to get everything they need in life and be happy with all everything that goes on in their life and all their situations. And yes, it's going to take work, but you can get there. So yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that video. I mean, honestly, it was a disturbing video to watch for me, but you win some, you lose some. You can't always solve every problem, but you can only do so much, right? So I guess I will, I don't know. I guess I'm going to jump in on the emails now, because it's an email day. Just like they are every day. So here we go. Hey, Devin, I recently bought a very old house, and I'm pretty sure there's a secret tunnel underneath the floorboards. I found a small hidden door in the basement, but I'm too scared to open it to see where it leads. Part of me wants to explore, but the other part of me is terrified of what I might find. What do I do? Should I call someone, or am I just being paranoid? Here's the thing. You're being paranoid. You buy a house, and that house has something amazing, like a tunnel in there, you go check it out. So what you need to do, you need to go find a friend, and you need to say, hey, we're going to explore this tunnel that I found underneath my house. That's what you do. You have to jump in. You have to go check it out. Because I can tell you, from owning a house that had secret hiding places. So we bought this house back in Tennessee, built in 1835. The beautiful part about that whole house was the fact that it had, well, other than being old, being pre-Civil War, other than all that, the house we found, come to find out, it had hidden compartments above the fireplaces, and then it had places that within the in between. So they lowered the ceilings, where the ceilings were like 16 foot tall at one time. They lowered the ceilings at one time, and then when they lowered the ceilings, then what they did was they made it where there was a crawl space between the two levels. So, and then what happened during the Civil War, people would go, they would hide, soldiers in between it, so they wouldn't get shot or killed or whatever. This was near Nashville, so hear me out. Nashville got taken over pretty quick by the Union during the Civil War. But so then what happens was they would hide people, and there was actually an old, bar and house of ill repute just down the street too. And so I will say, if you have a house that's got hidden compartments in it or hidden places or tunnels, you go check it out, because you may find some really cool stuff. But on the other side, you may find some super scary stuff. So I'll say go down there armed and go down there with all the bright lights. You can never get it, and you'll be fine. So there's that. Let's see what else we got. Got a lot of new emails. How are you guys doing, by the way? Everybody doing well? If anybody wants to jump in and wants to talk about stuff, please feel free to jump in. I'll be glad to add anybody they want, and we can talk about whatever you want to have. Here we go. Hey, Devin, my best friend's husband has been hitting on me, and I don't know how to tell her. He's been making inappropriate comments and even tried to kiss me once. I don't want to hurt her, but I also can't keep this secret any longer. I'm scared this may destroy our friendship, but I know she deserves to know. How do I break the news to her? Here's the thing. Okay, depending upon your friend, depending on how your friend feels, depending on what your friend does, your friend is probably going to freak out and probably going to, sit back and be upset. And they're probably going to blame you for the actions as well. Now, depends on how good of a friend this is. And honestly, the guy's a dirtbag. If he's hitting on you, he's probably hitting on other people too. And she honestly needs to know about this stuff. These are the things that she needs to know about, and she should know about them. So you need to tell her. Now, how you tell her, that's going to come down to you. I mean, I've always been one for the straightforward part of it all. Be straightforward with people, and then see what happens. Just tell her, hey, here's the situation, here's what's going on, and here's what's being said. Now, she'll take that back to him. He may get upset too and say you're a liar, blah, 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 whatever. But it's going to come down to her discretion whether she wants to believe it or not. No man who's actually a good guy, if he's married, no man will, or even if you're in a serious relationship, no man who's a real man will do that. It's just not right. No one does that. So you just got to tell her. Simple as that. Hey, Devin. I'm convinced my neighbor is spying on me. I keep seeing them with binoculars watching my house, and I've caught them snooping around my yard a few times. When I brought it up to other people, they told me I'm just being paranoid. I don't know what to do because I feel unsafe in my own house. But no one seems to take me serious. How do I handle this situation? Okay, so you don't want to be the boy who cried wolf, right? No one wants to be the boy who cried wolf, because that would suck, to be the boy who cried wolf and sit there and have someone come in and say, no, you've said this stuff too much. We don't believe you. Blah blah blah. So what you need to do, honestly, you got a cell phone. Put up some cameras around your house. You can go get. I know Costco had these MyQ cameras that you can add to your home security and things like that. Put those around the house. Get him on video doing this, because honestly, you deserve safety. And it doesn't matter if people believe you or not, but if you got the video proof of this, then there's nothing that people can say, because they can see that you're actually telling the truth. And guess what? Then you go to the cops and you say, here's what's going on. This guy's looking through my windows. He's spying on me on the house. And you can just tell them what's up, because, that's just weird and creepy. No one does that. That's just it doesn't work. No one. It's just gross. To be honest, it's just gross. So yeah, tell them. You got to tell. You got to get proof, and you got to take care of it. Hey Devin, I just found out that my partner has been lying to me about their past for the entire relationship. They told me they had a normal upbringing, but recently I found out they've been in and out of jail for years before we met. They've been hiding it from me. I feel betrayed and confused. How do I trust someone who's been lying for a long time? Do I stay or try to rebuild the trust, or is it time to walk away? Okay, here's the thing. If they were covering up their relationship or their past, they're covering up their past, then I'm going to call this a simple thing. They probably didn't want you to know the crap that they dealt with, right? The crap that they did. And I'm not trying to be sympathetic on their side whatsoever, because honestly, sometimes people do stupid things. Now, on the other side, have they changed? Because I do believe that people can change. I do believe that people have the capacity and the ability to change. I do know that most people are not willing to change. And because people aren't willing to change, then if most people aren't willing to change, and because those people that are not willing to change, they just typically just talk about things. But the fact that if he covered it up and you have no trace that he's done anything wrong or she's done anything wrong, because you can't tell the way you wrote the email, you can't tell if it's a boy or girl. I'm going to assume that you're the girl or whatever in the relationship. It doesn't really matter. The reality is this: if they've proven that they can do the things that they're supposed to do, they've proven worthy of the trust. Although you found out all these bad things, you can bring it up to them and talk to them. Say, hey, I know these things happen now. Can we talk about it? It needs to be talked about. And once you get through that first barrier of, hey, let's talk about it, then you'll be able to deep dive, and you'll know the right thing to do. You'll know that, hey, I can trust you, because you're not that person anymore. But then you can move forward. Because the key thing is, if you want to be happy and you do like this person and you do love this person, then you can get past that. I mean, it's just a thing, honestly. I think a lot of times we focus way too much on the past of people versus dealing with their present. How do they treat you? Are they treating you right? Are they criminals now? Or if they are, then yeah, you should get out of things. If they're still doing the same crap, then yeah, you should get out of it. But if they haven't done it and they've moved on, then guess what? They are a person who has changed and bettered their lives. So there's that. To me, it seems simple. Those are the simple things in life I think people need to worry about. Just because someone has had a sketchy past, it does not necessarily mean that sketchy past has followed them and they still are in it. Now, if they still are, then yeah, you can move on. It's that simple. But yeah. Anyway. Hey, Devin. My sibling recently got married to someone I used to date, and I'm struggling to deal with it. I thought I was over that relationship, but seeing them together has brought up all these old feelings I didn't expect. My family gatherings are awkward, and I'm not sure how to move past this. Should I talk to my sibling about how I feel, or just try to get over it on my own? Get over it on your own. Seriously, here's the thing. You used to date this person, and they became an ex for a reason. And honestly, your two personalities and what you guys did not work. It was not compatible. And because it wasn't compatible, that's why you guys broke up. You guys became exes for a reason. Now, whether he broke it off or whether you broke it off, it doesn't matter. The reality is they became an ex for a reason. Let the ex be where the ex is. So that means just move on. It will be okay. Now, what you need to do, you don't feel like you've ever had closure, because what I think a lot of times when people have exes, they just look at their ex and say, you know what, screw you. I never want to see you again. You're out of my life, blah, 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 blah. But then all of a sudden, because you guys didn't get along, it doesn't mean, see, the thing is, there is someone for everybody. And that's what I think we all forget. Even the jackass out there, he may be a jackass to you or to everybody else, but he can be a good person for somebody. And I think that's where I think that's the problem that we have, because we always, okay, if I meet somebody, I meet that person, and then my brain and my mind creates what I think that person is and who they are and how they're going to be. In turn, everybody else in the world that meets that person, they have a different view of that person also. They have their view of who that person is, and it's probably totally different than mine. So your ex, you have a different view of your ex, just like your sibling has a different view of your ex now. Your sibling is probably the right person for that ex. So the reality is, you don't need to talk to your sibling about this. This is not their problem. This is not something that they should have to worry about. They shouldn't have to worry about whether you're mad or upset. Because if you're mad and you're upset, that's on you. Because what happens is, if you get involved, you could cause a rift in their relationship, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to create unnecessary drama when there doesn't seem to be any drama to be in there in the mix anyway? So to fix the problem, simply, you have to get past it. You need to look at this point of saying, you know what? I don't have to like him all the time, but I do have to like the fact that he likes my sibling. And that's what you do. You deal with it as it is, and you just move forward. That's all you got to do. I know that's a hard thing to swallow. And that there's a lot of things that people talk about, but they don't ever want to deal with. But sometimes you got to deal with the hard things and move forward and be happy. Because the reality is, you got to do what's right for you. And what's right for you is being happy. And moving on is the only way you're going to get that closure and being happy. Because honestly, if you're not in a relationship, then you probably have some bottled up feelings that you're frustrated about. So to fix that, you got to just fix that. And maybe that means you need to get into a relationship. But I'm going to say, don't rush into a relationship just for the fact that you want to try to prove a point. Because if you want to get into a relationship, you get into it for the right reason, and not because you're trying to prove someone right or wrong. You just get into it because you care about somebody, and you want to take that next step in your life to be a better person and to be that better person for someone else. So you'll be okay. Just suck it up a little bit, and you'll be okay. It's fine. Hey, Devin. I just found out my best friend has been pretending to be me online, using my photos, my name, and creating fake accounts. I'm furious and hurt, but I don't know how to confront them without blowing up our friendship. Why would someone even do something like this? And how do I even stop them from creating a huge scene? Here's the thing. If your friend is doing something that you don't like, then the only way to fix that is to tell them. And will it blow up? Probably will. And if it does blow up, then what you do, you say, here's the thing. True friends do exist, but most people are friends with you only for the reason because you give them something that they don't have. That's the sad reality. Now, true friendships can exist. And true friendships can last for a long time. And typically a true friendship you can not talk to someone for years and years and years and years. And then you can pick things back up like nothing ever happened. Like there was never any issue. So what you got to do is confront your friend. Then honestly, if they don't want to stop doing it, then you may have to get some legal stuff going on, because you just can't have people pretending that they're someone that they're not, because this will all fall back on you. And then if it falls back on you, then you will be held accountable for all of these things. Yeah. Hey, Devin. My brother's wife confessed that she's in love with me. And now I'm stuck in an impossible situation. I don't feel the same way. But I'm terrified that if I tell my brother, it will destroy their marriage and our relationship. I feel trapped. And I don't know how to handle this without causing chaos in the family. Should I keep this a secret or should I come clean? Here's the thing. If your sister-in-law came to you and said that she loves you, or she's in love with you, that's a problem. So one, you're probably spending too much time over at their house. There's too much familiarity going on. So what I would do, I would distance myself from being around her. As simple as that. And this is a quiet way to do it. Just don't go over that often. And if you don't go over that often, and you don't get involved in that drama, then you'll be fine. Now your brother will ask the question, why aren't you coming around anymore? And then if he does ask the question, you can push it off and say no big deal, nothing. You can push it off with no big deal. If he presses the subject, then you can say, hey, here's what's going on, and I didn't want to cause any drama, and because I care about you guys, and I think you guys are great. Then I'm going to sit back and say, hey, I'm going to just step back from the situation so there's no issues all around. That's what I would do. And then if he asks more questions, then you just tell him straight up. This is the reason why I did not stick around. I love you and I appreciate you, but I love you more than anything else because you're my brother and I didn't want to mess anything up for you. So yeah, that's a rough situation and I'm sorry. I don't know why people get in relationships and then all of a sudden they back out and they start doing weird crap like that because that doesn't work for me. So, hey, Devin, I recently learned that my family has been part of a secret society for generations, and now they want me to join. They kept this from me for my entire life, and I don't know what to think. It sounds like something from out of these conspiracy theory books, but they're dead serious. I'm not sure if I should dive in, run for the hills. How do I make sense of this? So this kind of reminds me of literally like every one of the Bush family, how they're all members of the Skull and Bones, fraternity for whatever school that is. I can't remember what school it is. I know they did a movie about the Skull and Bones years ago. But when it comes to whether this I assume every email that I get are true. I'm going to tell people I can't believe that some of these things actually are real because I just can't believe this kind of crap actually does exist in our society. It kind of boggles the mind that people act this way and things like this happen. But I know stuff like this can happen. I mean, I've seen some crazy drama in my life, and it's just ridiculous. But so if your whole family's been part of a secret society, say, like for instance the Skull and Bones, and seems like almost every president that's been elected for the past whatever years it is have been also parts of that society, then yeah. I guess my question is, are you going to gain anything on it financially? Because a lot of people do gain financial means by joining some of these things. And if that's what you're looking for is financial stability, then yeah, you can do it. But still would be terrifying. I've never been a believer in joining a secret society. I think that's kind of scary. Probably nor would I ever be invited to be a part of a secret society because I guess my opinions are way too strong. But I'm always going to be the person that says, do the right thing no matter what, even if it hurts you. So even if doing the right thing means you do not join the secret society and you're the black sheep of the family, so be it. That's what you become. So there's that. Okay. Hey, Devin. My spouse recently started following the spiritual guru. And now they want me to attend a retreat that sounds suspiciously like a cult. they're talking about they're talking about it like it's going to be a huge change in our lives, but I'm freaked out by the whole thing. I don't want to upset them, but I'm not comfortable going. How do I handle this without making them feel like I'm rejecting their beliefs? So when it comes to religion, spirituality, and anything like that, that can be a tough subject in some cases, because I've always been a firm believer, if you're getting married and you're Catholic, and then you marry someone that say is a Baptist, you want to have things in common. Now, if you are devout on both your religions and you join, then what happens is like, okay, where do you go? Do you all become devout Catholics? Do you both become Baptists? What do you do? So to solve that problem, a lot of times what people do is they usually marry within their own religion. And the reason they do that is because it makes it easier. You can raise your kids in it. You both have the same background and everything works out. Now, if you don't believe in some of the stuff she believes, what you can say, you need to have the conversation. Having an open and honest relationship with your spouse is super important. It's one of the most important things that a person could ever have. And if you didn't have a relationship like that before you got married, you definitely need to have it now. So I would just say, hey, I'm not sure that I feel comfortable going to that retreat. It's pretty simple. And if you don't feel comfortable going to the retreat, and you tell them, say, I support you in doing it because it's what you enjoy and what you like and what you feel is important. I need a little bit more time. And honestly, deep dive. The thing is, most people call things cults without reading or studying or understanding what's being said. So do a deep dive into it. Read everything. Understand everything. Get to know everything. I mean, and then you'll learn. On the other side, you can go, and you don't have to be part of it. You go to learn more about it. So then you can make an educated guess, or educated decision, not educated guess. You can make an educated decision based off the information you get there. Because if they are a cult, then you just call an Uber and get out of Dodge and run that route. I mean, you want to do the right thing for your spouse, but you also want to make sure you protect your beliefs and what you feel is right. And then I would, no matter what, even just to voice your concern to them is gold. It's worth everything. You have to voice your concern. Because if you don't voice your concern, then they'll never know. And if they never know, then you'll never be able to have, sit back and say, okay, well, if you can never say you tried if you didn't have that conversation. And if your relationship was to fall apart, it's all because you never tried and you never had those conversations. The thing is, being in the relationship, you take the chance of offending your spouse. And to be offended is a choice as well. But if you're not willing to have those conversations, then why'd you get married anyway? To be honest, you need to be willing to have the hard conversations, no matter what even taking the chance that your spouse and significant other will be upset. The hard things need to be said, because if you can't talk about the hard things, then what makes you think you can get past all the easy things? Okay. Hey, Devin, I overheard my neighbor talking about a big project that they're building in their basement, and now I'm worried it might be something illegal. I've seen weird people coming in and out and going at all hours, and it makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to cause trouble, but should I report this? I'm scared of getting involved, but I also don't want to ignore something dangerous. Okay, here's the thing. You overheard your neighbor talking about a big project that they're doing in their basement. Why don't you ask them? Just ask them. And if you're not comfortable with asking them, then if they're construction guys going in and out, grab one of them and say, hey, what's going on over there? What are y'all building? What's, and, you know, that type of stuff. And if they say, hey, don't worry about it, then you start to worry. But honestly, I don't know. This is a hard one because you know, it could be something illegal. I mean, the thing is, if they're, you know, I don't think this is any Walter White kind of crap. Unless you see chemicals being delivered, then they could be, you know, making meth down there. But the reality is, if they're not, if you don't ask, you're never going to know. That's the thing. You can have all your assumptions. It honestly sounds like you've been listening to way too many true crime podcasts, and your brain is going in overload because of things you've overheard. Now, you didn't detail what you heard, and because you didn't detail what you heard, I don't know, and so it's hard to, you know, you're saying you're worried that it could be something illegal. Unless they've talked about something illegal, then there's that. Now, here's the other thing you could do. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this because I'm not a huge fan of government. You can report to, if they're building a bunch of stuff and they don't have a building permit, you can report it to the permit office and let them decide what's going on and see what happens. Now, there's a chance that your neighbor will find out that you reported that they're building something out. And so then you're going to be that Karen that's getting involved in other people's business. So, I mean, this is why I like living in the country, which I don't live in the country right now, but we're moving back to the country in this coming year. And there's way too many people that try to get their nose in other people's business. And I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right to involve yourself in other people's business. You can overhear things, and when you overhear things, you could be completely wrong about the situation. And then you cause problems for other people, and that can cause them thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, who knows? That they could be building something for a relative that needs a place to live, and they may be doing it under the, you know, they may be getting it built out the right way, but not getting a permit on the place, so because they don't have the money to pay for the permit. Depends on what state you live in and what city. Permits can be expensive, and then to not be able to put a family member where they need to be because of it. That's just messed up. Not that I'm calling you out on being a busybody, but you're kind of being a busybody. So I would say, unless you see something that is definite illegal, maybe you should mind your business. I know that probably sounds very harsh, but it is what it is, right? So, hey, Devin, my partner disappeared for 3 days. Didn't answer any calls or text, and now they're back like nothing happened. I'm freaking out, but they're acting like it's no big deal. They won't tell me where they went or why they didn't reach out. I love them, but it feels like a huge betrayal of trust. How do I get them to open up and explain what happened? Okay, so thank you, by the way. The thing is, your partner disappears for 3 days. That is a huge red flag, right? Now, maybe they got abducted by aliens. There's that theory. I'll go ahead and go down that theory. If they got abducted by aliens, they don't know that they disappeared for 3 days, but you do. I mean, apparently that happened back here in the West. What was that movie back in the 90s? Fire in the Sky. Now, I think they disproved all that, so obviously, whatever. I don't know. I think the guys still have never changed their story, so there's that. So they believe it's probably accurate. So I don't necessarily think they were actually abducted, just so you know. If they don't want to talk about it, they may have had to do something that's difficult and hard, and you can ask them and say, hey, what's going on? And it may feel like a betrayal to you, but maybe it's something that they don't want to talk about, or they're not comfortable talking about it. They may have to deal with something that is beyond your comprehension, or they don't feel comfortable telling you because they think it's going to be just something that's difficult for you to even handle. So there's that. That's funny. Sorry, I just saw this on TikTok. The name I Hate Liars joined. So Me too. You know, again, doing the right thing is always the right thing, and you want to make sure that your partner's open, but they may have something that's super concerning to them, and they're trying to process it themselves. So if anything, go to them and say, hey, I know you've been gone for a few days, and you're not ready to talk about it, but just so you know, I'm here for you, and I want you to know that if you want to talk, I'm here to talk. I'll be glad to go talk about it. Just so you know, I'm here and I support you. So there's that. Sorry, if you guys are listening or watching on TikTok, I apologize for the screen that is all fuzzy because my camera is broken on that phone. I'm getting a new one. Should be here soon, but sorry if that's what it is. So anyway. Hey, Devin. I've been with my partner for 4 years, and I'm ready to take it to the next step, marriage. The problem is, every time I bring it up, they shut it down. They shut down the conversation and say they're not ready. I'm starting to wonder if they'll ever be ready, and if I'm wasting my time waiting. I love them deeply, but I don't want to wait forever for something that may never happen. How do I figure out if we're on the same page or if it's time to move on? That is a tricky one, because if you guys have been together for 4 years and then all of a sudden you're ready to take the next step and they're not, that's hard. Part of it is because probably they've been hurt. And if it's the guy, if you're ready to get married and you're the lady, then typically most women know when they're ready to get married before a guy does. I will say that. Now, I will say when a guy is ready to get married, he will flip the world upside down just to prove it to you and to make it happen. So if he's not ready and you're just trying to figure out when the next step's going to actually happen, then what you need to do is have that conversation. You need to have the conversation and say, hey, I know you've said that you're not ready to take it to the next step, but do you see that happening in the future? And if so, what can I do to make you feel more comfortable with me or with whatever the situation is to get closer to that? Because eventually I would like to be in a married situation. I would love to be married to you. I'm not trying to press you. I'm not trying to push you. I just want to know that if things were to happen in the right direction, that I would foresee our relationship going, that it's worth for me to stick around. Now, and then to go take that conversation to that next step, then you need to tell them, hey, if you're not ever going to be ready, then I need to know because, and now this may be hard to say, but tell them I need to know because I don't want to waste my time. I love you, but if we're never going to get to that point, then I want to know because I want to have a marriage. I want to be with someone who wants to be with me and no one else. And if you take it to that next step there and you do say that, be prepared for what may come. Because what may come will be something that you don't want to hear. And and in reality, there could be someone else on the sidelines already. And that is sad. But it's a possibility. It is a sad truth. Now, they could just be, if it's a guy and you're the girl and you're waiting to get to that step, he could have been hurt in the past by other women. Because honestly, women can be completely ridiculously mean when it comes to relationships in any type of situation. Especially if they're the type of women that they are only in it for what can they get out of the relationship, not what they can give you in the relationship. Because if you're in a relationship, you're supposed to be giving your all. And I've said it 100 times. I'll keep on saying it 100 more times. I don't care. I'll just keep doing it. Marriage is not 50-50. If you believe marriage or any relationship is 50-50, you are 100% emphatically wrong. Marriage is 100-100. And the reason it's 100-100 is because when you're lacking in your relationship, then that other person is giving that extra 100 to make sure up for the problem. And that's when they're there to build you up and to make you a better person. So if I'm lacking and I'm 50%, and honestly, past couple of days, I'm going to honestly say in my relationship, I have been struggling a little bit. And my wife messaged me today and texted me, and she asked a question. Oh no, I asked a question, and she answered the question. Or no, she answered the question with something that was kind of related. And then I responded back saying, and I told her straight up, I said, I'm feeling rough. I've been beat up the past couple of days. And I don't like, and because I'm beat up, I'm taking this in a rude way. And that's probably not the way it was intended. This is a real legitimate conversation with my wife. And I told her, I took this as if it was said to me very rudely. And it was in a text message, and that's the problem with text messages. You don't know the intent behind and the inflection of voice, because there is no inflection of voice. And that's why a lot of things should not be done in text message, because you just don't know, and people can read through it. And so I said, this is how I'm feeling. This is how it sounds like you're saying it, and I'm probably taking it wrong, but this is how I feel. And because of that, we had a real conversation. She got off work. She came to me at the farmer's market where I was set up and selling our homemade products and things like that. If you guys ever want anything cool or whatever, go to thepineridgehome.com. It's my website. It's our family. It's a little small family business. We got more stuff that's getting ready to be put up on the website, but it's good. But so when she came to me at the farmer's market, because she sells stuff there too, her products, and we sat down and we talked about it, and she understands how I feel. And we had that real conversation. That's why I always harp on communication so much when it comes to relationships, because you don't want to be in a relationship that no one wants to talk to you. If they won't tell you how they feel and they won't tell you that they're upset about something, you're with the wrong person. You need to be able to be open about everything when it comes to a relationship. Everything. You need to be open and be able to talk about bedroom stuff. You need to be open and talk about food. I mean, who doesn't love food? But if they don't like food, they don't like certain foods, you need to know that. You need to be open to talk about the things when it comes to the kids. And I'll tell you, when you have kids and you're in a relationship, what happens is when you first have a kid, when you first married, it's just about you two. But then when you have a kid, it becomes about the kid. And you do your best to keep your relationship going, but there's always going to be a kid. So that's why date nights are important. But then as the kids get older, they don't need you as much. You'd still need to be working on your relationship daily to make sure that everything works out in the right way. You make sure that you guys are still on the same page. We had that conversation. We talked about the kids tonight as well, because kids can be hard, and they put a lot of stress on a relationship. And it's important to know that you are both on the same page when it comes to everything, literally everything. So when it comes to your partner not being ready, and you guys have been together for 4 years, what you need to do is you just need to talk to them and be willing to accept whatever the answer is, however the answer comes. Be willing to accept whatever is said, and even if that means you need to move on, then you'll know. That's the reality. Relationships are hard. Having a family is hard, but in the end, it is worth it if you're willing to put in the effort. Hey, Devin, I'm developing feelings for someone who's already in a relationship, and I don't know what to do. We have an amazing connection, and I can't help but feel we'd be great together. They haven't shown any signs of crossing the line, but I'm struggling to stay platonic. Do I distance myself and avoid heartache? Or is it possible to keep this friendship without becoming more complicated? Okay. You're developing feelings for someone who's already in a relationship. Do you really want to be that person? Seriously, do you really want to be that person that's going to break up a relationship all because you have feelings for somebody? The reality is you probably have lust for somebody. That's the reality here. It's probably not. The feelings that you're having are coming from a different part of your body, not from your head. So I'm going to tell you one thing and be very straightforward and blunt with you. Stop it. Go find someone else. There's a lot of people that I've met that are like, oh, then these are kind of cool people. Does that mean I'm like, oh, I could see us together? No. And the reason is because I have somebody amazing. And now your problem is you don't have anybody. That's the problem here. This is one reason why married men are more desirable to single women than single men. Because married men, it is a very big turn on because they are attached. And it signals it seems like from what I've read, it signals something in women and they say, hey, we could have the same thing because he is okay and up for commitment. Well, he is because he's already committed to it. And so you want to come in and try to take that away from somebody? That makes you the jackass. That really does. That makes you the bad person. You will be the bad person. So what you need to do is find someone who is not in a relationship. And they do exist. They're out there. Now, maybe your problem is because you're looking on all these dating apps. And from my understanding, I've never used a dating app, by the way. I will give myself an out on that. I've never had to use a dating app. I grew up in the generation where if you want to meet somebody, you go find someone to meet. And when you find that person, you talk to them and you say, hey, how are you doing? And then, hey, I like you. Do you like me? I mean, as childish as it sounds, the little pieces of paper you did in grade school, I like you. Do you like me? Yes or no? That's kind of how it worked for me when I was younger. Honestly, it would still work now. I guarantee if any single guy out there is listening to this or watching this, if you see a girl that you want to go out with, and they're not taken, if you wrote out that same thing and you hand it to them and make sure your phone number's on there and you gave that to them, that girl would probably think that's the most creative way to ask them out. Forget about stupid apps. Don't even worry about the dang apps these days. Apps scare me. I know they can work, but it seems like a lot of times when it comes to dating apps, they're more like hookup apps than dating apps. People just want to, get together and hook up and do stuff like that. To me, that bothers me. So, of course, I've never had to have the use for one. I just know I have friends who have jumped on dating apps, and that's how they do it. George, on TikTok, Georgia Bulldog 40 says, people are terrified of having conversations nowadays, and communication is everything. You're not wrong. The reality is if you can get past that barrier of talking to somebody, understand you may be scared. You may have fear and not wanting to talk to someone because of social awkwardness. But let me tell you this, when it comes to dating, they're just as awkward as you are. And if you can't get past the awkwardness, that's all on you. And then, so if you can't get past the awkwardness, then what happens is you're not willing to take that step to meet someone. Then who's to say that you deserve to have someone? I'll say it. I'll go there. If you can't get past that and you're not willing to be awkward in front of someone, here, the thing is, if you were to ask my wife, what's the things that she likes about me the most? It's probably not the things that I would think of. It's probably the weird, awkward things that I do. And she just gets into it and she likes it because that's me. She likes me for me and not because of, it's the awkward things that we have in our personalities that is most liked, to be honest. That's the reality. No one ever wants to admit that. What's that movie, Hitch, Will Smith? And, which I honestly believe part of that is actually true. I really do. If you think about the women that were dating and the reason it worked out, Hitch gave all this great advice for people to go. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm giving away spoilers. I apologize. This old movie that you have never seen. I apologize that you haven't seen it. That's your fault, not mine. But he would give amazing advice on how to pick up women. But when it came down to it, the women, it was the awkward, weird things that they enjoyed the most. The fact that they would do things that most people wouldn't do just because they thought it was cute. Women are different. Some women are completely idiots. That is a fact. Just like some men are complete idiots, and that's a fact. That's called the idiot part of men and women. It's called toxic femininity and toxic masculinity. The definitions as the world portrays those are not accurate. There are just bad people on both sides. So if you're trying to be, so going back to you're trying to take someone away from someone that's already in a relationship, stop it. Get over yourself and find somebody. If you really want a good place to meet some people, go to Home Depot. Go to Ace Hardware. Get past all the old men, and you'll find some people about your age. I'm sure you will, and I guarantee if you're in your 20s or 30s, you will find someone that's worth dating inside of those stores versus anywhere else. Go to church. I mean, heaven forbid, go to church. People are all against church, it seems like these days. The decline of religion is insane. But if people would just do those simple things, their lives would be so much better. You'll find somebody. I promise you, if you just put in the effort, you'll find somebody. Don't try to take somebody else that's already taken. That's just dumb. That's just weird. Hey, Devin, I've been with my partner for 2 years, and they've never said, I love you. We have a great relationship otherwise, but it's starting to bother me that they can't say those 3 words. I've said it to them multiple times, and while they show their love in actions, I can't help but feel insecure about not hearing it back. Am I overthinking this, or is it a sign that they don't feel the same towards me? I'm a firm believer that we should say I love you. I think those 3 words mean a lot. And I will tell you, the longer you are married, the difference of how those words, the meaning of those words does change. And if you tell someone I love you, I think you should mean it. I don't think you should say it just to get into their pants. And I know there's a lot of people that do that, and they shouldn't do that. That's making a mockery of something so beautiful and amazing. But you got to have a conversation. You can ask them, hey, we've been together for 2 years. You know I love you. And your actions tell me that you love me. Say, but it's important for me to know. It's important for me to hear it. That's part of my love language. Everybody's got a different love language. And just tell them that's how I am geared. That's how my brain functions. For me to know that someone loves me, I really need them to say it. Is there some reason why you're not saying it? You got to have that conversation. I don't understand why people just can't. The advice I give is just dad advice. That's all I'm going to say. It's dad advice. This is all I do. I give advice to anything about any subject, whether I'm qualified or not. And I've got some emails that tell me I'm not qualified by the means. And I may scroll down to some of those emails in a little bit. But the reality is, I am qualified to give advice. If you're really struggling, whether it's something, I got phone numbers for people who can help you. If you got something mentally you need taken care of, you should go see somebody. You should talk to somebody. If you want to, I will always be here for anyone that wants to talk. I am game for that. People want to call in. People want to jump on the live. I have a phone number. You guys can call in, and I am glad to talk. That being said, everyone needs to have the conversations. Everyone needs to talk. Everyone needs to say the things that are hard. And this may be a hard thing for you to do. So get your partner. Make them some good food. Sit them down. Ask them how their day was. Ask them how things went. Ask them every question that you can think of that makes them comfortable, and reasons why, and give them the reason why they still want to be around you. And then have that conversation. Have the I love you conversation. Tell them that you feel that they do love you, but you just want to hear it. And then comes the hard part. They may not ever want to say it back. And they may not actually love you. You may be filling a void in their life that they don't care, that they can't get anywhere else. That's the hard part. Can you get past that? Sure. Where there's a hard conversation, you have to be willing to take the end result. And it's going to be hard or it's going to be good, great. It's one or the other. There are only two sides to this. There's only a good side and a bad side. Or I would say not really a bad side. There's a side that you want to hear, which is I love you. Or there's a side that you don't want to hear is I don't think I do. Now, honestly, both to me are both good information. I don't see them as a bad thing. Because if they don't love you, then why are you there? Because you deserve to be with someone who's going to love you just like you love them. Everybody deserves that type of happiness. And that's the reality. Do the hard thing. It'll be worth it. You'll be fine. Hey, Devin, I've never thought I'd be in this situation, but here I am. I'm in love with two people at the same time. One is my long-term partner, who I've built a life with. And the other is someone new who makes me feel alive in ways I've never felt in years. I'm torn between stability and excitement. I don't know how to make this decision. How to figure out what's best for me without hurting everyone involved. Sincerely, torn between two. I got words for people like you. Do I say it? Should I say it? Yeah, I'm going to say it. You're an idiot. You're 100% an idiot. You're torn between two people. You're torn between a person you've built a life with, and now you're torn between someone who makes you feel alive in ways that you've never felt before. Why are you cheating? That's just wrong. You've already made a decision. Whether you've been in bed or not, you've already made a decision. This person makes you feel alive. What happened to the first one? Your long-term partner, they used to make you feel that way. And honestly, it goes for anything to be exciting, it takes two people. You're just used to something. You're used to the calmness of a great relationship, or what should have been a great relationship. But you've destroyed it because you found someone that's bringing you alive, and you're torn. What you want is what it sounds like to me. Your long-term partner has given you stability in your life, where the other person is giving you the excitement of hey, we can go do this. Oh, hey, we can do this. You're going. So your choice is this, and this is going to be the choice that you got to make, because honestly, to me, it sounds like you've already cheated. So you need to have a straight conversation with your partner and say, "Here's what I did, and I no longer love you." Because it sounds like you want the excitement. Instead of having the conversation with your long-term partner, say, hey, you know what? I feel like we're kind of in a rut. What can we do? Having a conversation of things being in the rut is very important. I've had that conversation with my wife. We've been married for 23, almost 24 years, and we have had the conversation of saying, hey, I feel like I'm in a rut. And honestly, That was because the rut was there because I was not putting in all the effort I should have been. And I'm going to say this is on you. You probably have not been putting in the effort that you should have been. Because if you wanted excitement in your long-term partner relationship, then you would have made the excitement. You would have gone that extra mile to make sure everything you were doing was going to be good and it was going to be right. But instead, you gave up on that because someone batted their eyes or someone flexed their muscles and you're like, oop, I'm out because this is exciting. You're a jerk. And your long-term partner deserves to know the truth. I went there, I said it, I called you out because no one who is a good person treats someone that way. That is just wrong in every way possible. People don't treat people that way. I know that people do, but good people do not treat people that way. So you're torn between two, you're actually just torn between one. Because you're going to lose the other. Unless they're super forgiving. But if they're super forgiving, you got to be willing to take a chance and cut it off. And make what you have more amazing than it's ever been, or go to have what's going to end up being another boring life. Once that excitement disappears, you're going to have that whole boring all over again. And then what are you going to do? Find somebody else? By that time, I guarantee you're going to be old and wrinkly, and someone's going to look at you like, oh, hey, there's a 50-year-old woman. Nope, I don't want anything to do with that. You got to stop it. People deserve to do better, and you're not doing better. I'm going to say it. You're a disgusting person. You make me sick. And yes, I said that I'll probably get shadow banned again on Instagram because of it, because I do post this on Instagram. And you'll probably go in and tag me and say, hey, this was all about me. But then I wouldn't do that if I was you. If you go tag yourself and say this person's a horrible person because he's calling people out on things, then that reflects on you. And then people will know that you were doing stuff and so I'd be careful. Be careful trying to call me out on things because, yeah, my opinion is you got to do better. The person you're with right now deserves better. And I hope he does find better. Because that's just wrong. Anyway. Okay. Hey, Devin. My partner recently brought up the idea of an open relationship, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. On one hand, I understand their reasoning, but on the other hand, I'm scared it will hurt our connection. I've been in an open relationship before, and I'm worried I won't be able to handle the emotions that come with it. How do I figure out if this is something I can handle without damaging our bond? Okay. You've already been in an open relationship before. A lot of people already know how I feel about open relations. How you doing, my friend? If you've been in an open relationship before, how'd that work out for you? That'd be my question. That'd be how what I would look at. I'd try to go in and figure out why did it work out before? Obviously, it didn't because you're with somebody new who now wants to have an open relationship. So being that the new person that you're with wants to have an open relationship, you got some soul searching to do here. For one, what is the reasoning behind it? Why? Because they just want someone new? Well, that's just wrong. And if they want someone new, that means there's probably already someone new in the mix, just so you know. And if you were in an open relationship with someone before, that tells you how well this is going to turn out, because there was probably someone in the mix before. And so you're kind of getting the bad end of the stick. The reality is this: you need to move on. You need to dump these people, get out of the way, and move on. Because people don't act that way. And I hear, I've had people who watch the lives and they've commented, yes, open relationships can work. Sure. For now. But in the long term, no, it's not going to work at all. Because there's always going to be a point when someone's going to want more with less people. Because in a real relationship, you're giving 100% to the person that you love, and you're doing your best to make sure that that person that you love has everything that they emotionally need, physically need, and mentally need. That's the reality. So my advice is get out of the relationship. If he wants to have an open relationship, it's probably already happening. Need to have that conversation. Yeah. Hey, Devin, I caught my partner flirting online, and why did I even say it that way? I caught my partner flirting online with someone and it's really bothering me. They said it was just harmless fun, but I can't help feeling like it's a betrayal. I've always been clear about my boundaries, and now I'm not sure if I'm overreacting or if this is a red flag. How do I bring it up without starting a fight? And should I be worried about this kind of behavior? Yes, you should be worried. If your partner's flirting with somebody online, that brings up the question of how committed to you are they? And of course, they're saying, oh, it's innocent fun. Guess what? Flirting online with somebody is still cheating. They may not have done the deed, but they're flirting with somebody online with the potential of something that could happen. It depends on what's going down. What are they saying? The reality is, it doesn't matter what's being said. If they're flirting with somebody online, that is 100% a betrayal to your relationship. That's the reality. So in my opinion, you are either with somebody or you're not with somebody. And if you're sitting there and you're not with somebody because if you're flirting on the line with somebody, you're not with the person that you're with. It's black and white. It's the simple thing. It's to me, it makes no sense. Why do you flirt with people online when you're in a great relationship? If you're flirting online, stop it. Go upstairs and flirt with the person that's upstairs. Simple as that. I flirt with my wife all the time. Cheesy comments, serious looks. She flirts with me. It is what you do. And we've been married for a long time. That's what keeps our spark going, because we treat each other as if they were the only one, because they are the only one. So if your partner is flirting with someone online, it's wrong. It is cheating. You're not overreacting, and you should have the conversation. And then if you have the conversation and it starts a fight, who's overreacting? Is it you or them? If they get upset for the fact that you're upset, then they don't know you at all. And they should know you. They should spend the time to get to know who you are and why you feel the way you do. Yes, that is 100% big red flag. And you deserve better. Man, you guys are getting me fired up tonight. Some of these things are, when it comes to relationships, you're either in or you're out. And I don't understand why people have to act this way. It's crazy. Hey, Devin, my partner and I have been together for 6 years. And while we love each other deeply, I've noticed the spark is fading. We're more like roommates than lovers these days, and I miss the excitement we used to have. How do we reignite the passion and bring back the romance without feeling forced or awkward? Okay. Here's something that I would probably, okay. If it was, say, things were getting rough for my wife and I, if she just walked and say she wanted to make sure that the spark was always there, which the spark is, for us, the spark is always there. trust me, the spark's always good. If she wanted to bring the spark alive again, there was a movie. What was that? I think the movie was an old movie called Fried Green Tomatoes. Very good movie. Funny movie, old movie. Everybody should watch it. I love movies. I enjoy movies. But here's the deal. In the movie, the older woman told one of the younger, I think it was Kathy Bates. I can't remember the character. But essentially told her, you want the spark to be alive? Wrap yourself in cellophane and answer the door just like that when he comes home. Now, you don't have to go wrap yourself in cellophane. Cellophane's good because you can see through it. And I can tell you what, if that didn't bring the spark back, it should. Now, on the other side, if I was say on the couch and it was just my wife and I, and she felt like that there was something not there like it should be, if she walked by me in the buff, the spark would be alive. The reality is, you got to figure out how to bring the spark back. And it's just simple things, little flirting, saying things that are little innuendos. It's the little things. If my wife said something very suggestive out of the blue in a text message or whispered in my ear while we were out someplace, oh my gosh, I would flip. Seriously. You've been together for a long time. Been together for 6 years. That's a long time. Make it worth your while. Don't give up. Do the right thing and figure out the spark. Figure out what turns them back on. And then the same thing for you. I guarantee if you initiate something. Okay, here's the thing. No man alive will turn his wife down if she initiates. I'm just going to tell you, that is the reality. No man alive. And if they do, it's got to be some power play or they're cheaters. Simple as that. Seriously, I could have the biggest headache. I could have broken arms or leg and it would work. You could probably cut my head off and I'd be like, and here we go. I mean, yeah. So I'm going to tell you, speaking for all men out there, if our wives did anything, even joking around and pulled up like the old movies, show a little bit too much ankle, even something like that, I guarantee you they'd be like, oh, it's about to happen. That would work. It doesn't take much for a guy to be okay. Here we go. Turn that engine on. It doesn't take much. So you can do this. Find something, read something, whatever. It can be done, and it can be amazing. I promise you. You can reunite that spark. The fact that you're willing to talk about it, the fact that you trust me to talk about this, and that you come to me, a perfectly good stranger, and tell me that you need help on trying to figure out how to get that spark back, I appreciate the trust, because honestly, you're opening up and you're willing to have a conversation. Now just take this conversation to your partner. So there you go. Okay. Hey, Devin. My partner and their ex are still close. And while I trust them, it makes me really uncomfortable. They claim it's all platonic, but they text and they meet up for coffee regularly. I don't want to come across as a jealous type, but it's hard to not feel that like a third wheel sometimes. How do I talk to my partner about setting boundaries without sounding controlling? Sincerely, jealousy isn't my thing. Miss Jealousy isn't your thing. Here's the deal. I've always said it. An ex is an ex, and they're an ex for a reason. I do think people can be friends even after a relationship, right? I do believe that can happen. I do believe people can be friends. Now, what you need to do is have that hard conversation. I keep saying it all the time, over and over and over again. Talk to them and say, hey, I'm just wanting to let you know, I do get a little jealous because when you guys are around, because you guys do have all the little, things that you know about each other, and you do have all these little, have these chats and things like that. And I know we're together, but I don't like the fact that you guys are spending so much time together. And I'm not trying to be needy, but I need some security on that we're good. Because the thing is, they are probably better friends than they were when they were together. And so there's that. And there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. There's nothing wrong with getting them to commit to setting boundaries so you guys can have a better relationship. Give him a reason to make your relationship way better than theirs ever could be. Give him that reason. That's my opinion. You need to make the reason for him to want to be with you more. So you don't feel like the third wheel, may be that reason. Yeah. All right. Let's read a hate mail. I like it. I'll give on some of those hate mails. Here we go. Scroll down. I have them separated. Hey, Devin. I don't know why anyone listens to you. Your advice is always so generic and never actually helps anyone. You're just repeating the same old nonsense that people have been hearing for years. Honestly, you're just wasting people's time. Cool. Here's the deal. When it comes to advice, I just give advice. And yes, it may sound old and generic, but honestly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What do you want from me? I mean, you obviously listen and you obviously watch. You obviously have something going on. The fact that you say my advice is so generic and and actually never helps anyone. I beg to differ, but what do I know? You can be mad at me all you want, and I'm sorry that you're mad at me. I will say this. I appreciate the email. I appreciate you taking the time to email me and let me know how my advice is bad. Because honestly, that means you're listening, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to tell you, I love you for that. So thank you. Thank you for helping me provide for my family, because that's what this is doing. You are helping me provide for my family. So thank you. Thank you for emailing me. Thank you for making this into something that you don't like, but something that benefits me. Let's do another one. Hey, Devin, I don't understand how you think you're qualified to give advice to anyone. Do you have any credentials, or are you just another person who likes hearing their own voice? I wouldn't trust you to give advice on what sandwich to order, let alone life decisions. Stick to something more you're actually good at, if there is anything. Yes, I am good at a lot of things. I'm good at more things than you can imagine. Just ask your wife. Just kidding. That's horrible. That is wrong. I should never have said that. Now, you know what? My qualifications are simple. I do have qualifications. My qualifications are this. I have been in a relationship for 23, almost 24 years. I've known my wife for 26, almost 27 years. So that speaks for itself. What's the longest relationship you've ever been in? Also, I've been raising kids for now almost 23 years. It'll be 23 years in, well, actually the next month. I've been raising kids for 23 years at the end of next month. So I may know a couple of things when it comes to raising kids. Even the hard things. So my qualifications are that I have time. What do you have? Now you may have more time than I have, but so be it. Why don't you do this? Do I like the sound of my own voice? Why not? Who doesn't like the sound of my voice? If you guys don't like the sound of my voice, don't listen. It can get on people's nerves, sure. But guess what? I get to use my voice to make money. I get to use my voice to help people out as they deem necessary. And honestly, no one has to use my advice. My advice can be, as you say, completely useless, and that's fine. I will give advice if they ask, and whether they choose to listen to it or not, that's all up to them. Because honestly, it could be complete nonsense, and if they use it and it works for them, awesome. If they use it and it doesn't help them, awesome, because then they'll know not to do it again. So, to stick to something that I'm good at, I will. I promise. I'll keep on doing what I'm doing. And I'll say it. Thank you for the message. Thank you for taking the time out of your life to make me feel like I'm loved, because you obviously love me enough to send me a message. And now I got the message, and it's loud and clear, and I will say thank you. I appreciate it. You have a good night. Hey, Devin. I've been with my partner for 5 years, and recently I've been feeling like I'm falling out of love. There's no drama, no major issues, but the excitement just isn't there anymore. Why are you... The grass is not greener on the other side, guys. Just so you know. Let me finish this. I'm scared of bringing it up because I don't want to hurt them, but I also don't want to ignore my feelings. How do I know if it's just a rough patch or if our relationship is really over? Okay, here's the deal. How old are you? Honestly, this kind of sounds like a teenager. And you've been with if you're a teenager, and or you've known your person that you fell in love with originally, if you've been with them for any significant amount of time, I'm going to say it. Everybody, I truly believe that any relationship can work out if people put in the work and the effort. And if you're worried about you're falling out of love because there's no excitement anymore, put the dang excitement back in the relationship. Seriously, unless they're a total jerk and they treat you horribly, fix it. It's not my job to make it sure your job is fixed. I will help you and try to get it figured out. But the reality is, you can fix your problem by just solving your problem, by doing what it takes. Come on. It's not that difficult. So if you're falling out of love, it's because you're choosing to fall out of love. That's the reality. You're choosing to not take action. You're choosing to just let things be. So choose differently now. Go in and say, hey, I want to make this better. I want to make sure our relationship is good. Spend that time. Make the excitement that you used to have and bring it back. It's all up to you. No one else is going to do it. Unless you just want it to be over. Unless this is the excuse to get away. And then here's the thing. If you're looking for an excuse, this is the excuse, and then just do it. Because honestly, they deserve better. They deserve to be with someone who's going to put in the work. And honestly, if they're not putting in the work, tell them, hey, I need you to put in a little bit more work. I want things to be exciting like they used to be. Tell them, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Don't be, and unless you're looking for an out, this is your out. Don't make excuses. Just give them the piece that they need so they can move on, and you move on. You keep chasing that excitement. You keep chasing something that is there, but you can't find it anymore because you've become complacent. My gosh, people, do the right thing. And honestly, doing the right thing for you actually means you're doing the right thing for the other person, and that's getting out of their way. So sure, if the excitement's not there, walk away. Let them know, and you're out. But let me tell you, don't go crawling back when you find out that the other person that you're trying to get with and their excitement's gone. Don't go crawling back, because when it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing you do about it. It's gone. And the next relationship you're in, that excitement is going to disappear, and you're going to be like, oh, what do I do? It's because you're not putting in the work. Put in the work, people. Put in the work. Hey, Devin, I recently got out of a long relationship, and now I'm dating someone new who's amazing. The problem is I'm worried I'm rushing into it too soon after my breakup. Everything feels great, but I can't help but wonder if I'm just trying to fill the void. How do I know if I'm ready for something new or if I just need more time to heal? Okay. I don't know how I became the relationship guru. Is there no one else out there that does this stuff? Kind of curious. Am I the only one out here that's doing these things? That's why I'm getting all these emails. I mean, because some of you guys have some serious problems, and this is not that bad. I would say if you just got out of a relationship and now you're getting back into another one, you probably rushed it, to be honest. Now, if you guys have a good connection, just slow it down some. Seriously, slow it down until you can figure out if it's right or not. Because if it's not right, and you guys are, you're taking something away from someone else, and you're using them to fill that void that you had before, and so now you're worried that it may be too soon. Well, slow it down, and tell them tell them that you feel like you may have rushed into this, but you don't want to hurt them, so you want to slow down a little bit, just to make sure you're doing it right. Because honestly, if you jumped into a relationship really quick, I know a person. This is true. This is a true story. They got a friend of mine. Him and his wife. They got a divorce. They didn't get along. They were bad for each other. I mean, they were just bad for each other. I won't go into any details. The second he was gone, there was another person there. Now, does that mean that they were together before they split? Probably. And then when the divorce was final, she got married like within, I want to say it was like 24 hours. Now, this is a person who's an extreme narcissist who can't keep their crap together, and their current relationship is, honestly, I believe it's falling apart. And so, because of it, well, the narcissism has a huge part of that. But on the other part is their codependency. They can't handle being separate from anyone ever. So that's literally the sheer problem here. So how do you fix that? Well, you can't. The only way to fix that is the person has to do the right thing. Now she's in another bad relationship, which honestly, if I remember right, this would make her third marriage. So, my gosh, it's better to not rush into a second relationship when you first get out of another one, because you need time to learn about who you are. And I think a lot of times when people get into relationships, they don't know who they are. They just know they want to be with somebody. And when they're with somebody, they feel that fills that void that they feel like they need to have filled, because they're lacking something. If you can't be happy by yourself, then you'll never be happy with somebody else. You have to learn to be happy with who you are and who you are with before you can be happy with who you're with. Because how do you expect to give them the things that they deserve to have in a relationship when you're not happy, when you can't be, honestly, you can't do anything for them? You have to be able to give 100%, but also be comfortable with who you are. If you can't be comfortable with being alone, you're never going to be comfortable in a relationship and then it falls apart. You'll be in the same boat saying, why am I here? How did I get here? It's because you are codependent on having to be with somebody else because you don't know who you are. So figure it out. You're probably just filling a void. And if you say, hey, I want to slow things down, and they say, no, I don't want to do that. I like what we are, and you still feel the same, then the reality is it's time for you to break it off, because they deserve better. Because if you're not committed to it 100%, then it's never going to be, you'll never be you'll never be able to fill that gap, that hole and that gap where they need. Yeah. There you go. I'm sorry. This is an interesting one. Hey, Devin. My parents won the lottery. And instead of bringing us closer, it's creating chaos. And everyone is arguing how the money should be spent. And it turns out, it's turned into an ugly greedy mess. I've never thought winning money could cause such stress and division. I want to stay out of it, but it's affecting my relationship with them too. How can I keep my sanity while my family is falling apart over money? Here's the thing. When it comes to money and the lottery, I don't think you got much to worry about because most lottery winners are complete flat broke within, honestly, a year or two at the longest. So, if your family won the lottery and they're fighting over money and they're fighting over where the money should go and where the money is and where the money should be, then what you got to do is step out of it. The thing is, it's your parents that won the money. Why is everybody arguing over what's going where? If your parents won the money, then they have the money. It's their money. It's not the kids' money. It's not the grandkids' money. It is your parents' money. If they wanted to buy nice things for other people, so be it. So what needs to be done is, if you got some siblings and some aunts and uncles that think they deserve the money, they can just go take a flying leap because honestly, it's none of their business. The key thing is so I was just in a TV show where there was a lot of money that was involved. I can't say what TV show it is quite yet, but in December, you guys will find out. And I've talked to some of the winners and some people who I assume are the winners and some people I assume that got a lot of money. And so people I assume, and I know that got a lot of money. And the only advice I've ever given them is tell no one until they find out. Because when people find out that you have money, then you're going to find out that you have a million friends. A million people that have great ideas of where you should give them, why you should give them your money and why they deserve it. In reality, no one deserves a dime. You worked for it. When it came to my situation, those people worked their butts off to get to where they are. Some of them had to cheat. Some of them had to tell lies. Some of them had to be fake and convince people to do things. That's just part of the game. When it came to doing winning the lottery, your parents won the lottery, not you, not your siblings, not anyone else. So what needs to be said is maybe you should just have a conversation with your parents and let them know. And of course they'll say, well, we want to do right for everybody. Well, tell them do right for everybody, but do it quietly. Tell everybody to lay off and be quiet. And if something was to happen for them, so be it. And if nothing is to happen for them, so be it. Because if your parents are not setting the money aside to give themselves some financial stability, then your parents are fools. Because money is good as long as it can bring you security. And if you can't get that security and they're going to just blow it and waste it, then they're fools. Anyway. I think that's the last one I got in me. Maybe I'll do one more. Okay, I'll do one more. Hey, Devin, my boyfriend surprised me with buying me a star and naming it after me. I know it's supposed to be romantic, but I can't help think it's a bit cheesy. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I acted super excited, but now he wants to plan a stargazing trip and visit our star. How do I handle this without coming off as ungrateful and how do I handle this without sounding ungrateful? Well, you are being ungrateful. Sure, it was cheesy. The man went out and he purchased something for you. May not be what you wanted. May not be what you would have even thought about getting. And now he's planning a trip to go stargazing with you. The dude wants to just spend time with you. He wants to go and do fun stuff with you. He thought this would be a cool gift for you to have. And then now you're basically saying it's crap. So yes, you are being very ungrateful. I'd be pissed. So what you got to do here is tell him it's not for you and you didn't like the idea and you're going to destroy the guy, and then the guy's going to get upset and he'll probably move on. Or if you guys got something great, guess what? Accept the cheesy gift, go with him, do the stargazing, and be happy because he wants to spend time with you, and that's something amazing. If you have a person that wants to spend time with you, your boyfriend wants to spend time with you, holy crap. He could be out hanging out with the boys. Honestly, he probably would, in some cases, he may want to go hang out with the boys more, but instead he's going to spend time with you instead of hanging out with the boys. So you should feel lucky that you have someone that cares about you enough that bought you, honestly, a super considerate gift. And sure, it is kind of cheesy, but who gives a crap? The reality is you can do this. You can be grateful, or you cannot be grateful. And if you're not going to be grateful, move on. Let the boy find someone who would appreciate a star. I mean, that's the right thing to do. If you don't want to treat him with respect enough and acknowledge such a thoughtful gift, and then he wants to take it to the next level and go stargazing with you to find that said star in the sky, you're a horrible person. You shouldn't be acting that way. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for the night. Those are my emails. That's what people have said. Hope you guys are doing great. And you know what? I will talk to y'all later.